Hello there and welcome to another assets video, and this video I'm going to show you how to set up a cron job that will go through your different objects and find out if there's any object that actually has a due date or a update date that you want to actually take action on. So this one came as a request from a friend of mine, and what he wants to do, he wants to have a field, let me see, it is called renewal date, which is if you want to have, for example, in your database you have renewal date for licenses, for example, or certificates, and maybe you want to have so every day some kind of script will actually loop through it, and if the renewal date is on a certain cadence, if it is like it will need to be renewed in a month, for example, then you can have an automation that will actually send an email connected to that, maybe to the owner of the asset or to specific individuals. So this is a common question, common request, so I figured I will just do a simple setup for it, just to show you, get you started. It will not be the perfect solution. I just basically threw this one together in a few minutes here just to have something to show you. But let me jump over to assets and first show you what we have in assets, and then show you the automation and how it actually works. So in assets here now, I have my old demo schema here that I'm using for basically all my videos here. And for the purpose of this video, I just took demo users here and I added a new attribute to it called renewal date. And it's just a normal date object. So as you can see here, it's a date. It's not, you have the date time. I did not pick that one because you don't need time in this case, I think. If you have very time sensitive that has to be on the minute, that is probably another video for that one. But this one only have the date object for it. I have set two different dates, so I can actually see that it will pick up the right ones if I have the conditions properly set up. And from this one then I will just create a little automation, and you do this in global automations, not in the particular projects for it. So I set this one up as a manual trigger first, but you should probably have it set as a scheduled one. So the steps are very easy, so I just go through them very quickly so you can understand the logic behind it. So the first thing we do is we take a look at assets and we do a query just to say that let me fetch some data so I can use in this automation. We branch this one out, so every object that we actually find we can take action on, and then we have two actually comparison. So the first one is to see if it is less than 7 days. So if it is 8 days, for example, I don't want to look at it yet. And then I also want to make sure that it's bigger than 0. So if it is a negative value or if it is not filled in at all, I don't want to see it. And then for each of them that I find, I want to send an email. So that's basically the flow for it. So the way we do it is, I don't know if I need to explain how the scheduled one works. Maybe that is a separate video. So if you want to have more details on what the scheduled triggers are, so very quickly you can just see that you can go advanced if you love writing cron expressions, which means that you're a mad person, or you can use the basic one and just have when it starts and end date if you want to have this perpetual or not. And you want to run this every day, you can have it any cadence you want. You can have minutes, hours, weeks, and months. What time you want to run it, so it doesn't conflict with other things. And then you can have different conditions in this one as well. And the second thing we do is a lookup objects, and this one is also, I don't know if we need a separate video for what lookup objects are, but basically what you're doing is you're telling the automation, look into a schema, and then you select the first schema, and I always forget this one, so I spend a lot of time here doing the AQL query here, and I get very annoyed because I get the wrong data, and I see that I've accidentally removed this one, so I'm just going to fetch this one again. And what I do for this one, when I do a lookup, I say that I would like to have the schema. I always add it here also, even though you probably don't need it. And then I say, which object type do we want to actually fetch? In this case, this is the demo schema, and demo users is the object type, and I want to fetch from. So I will get all the objects here. Now I could, if I wanted, I could also add, so I have only the ones that have the attribute now, renewal date, at a certain value, but I've chosen not to do this, to simplify this one basically. But if you have a lot of data in your asset schema, then you probably want to add that here, so you only get a more reasonable amount of data. And then in the branching here, I first do the same thing. I collect the schema, I do the object schema in demo type, because then I can run the data here through that one, and it's basically the same thing. And then I would like to have the two comparisons. So the first one I have, the object is what I want to, that's the value I want to actually look through. Renewal date here, that is the attribute that I want to look at. And then I want to have the difference between right now, the date time right now, and also against then days. And if you don't add the ABS here, then you will get negative values. So if you prefer to have it, so says that this one will show in -7 days, for example, or -3 days, then you don't need to have the ABS here, but the absolute value here, if we look at the automation smart values here, so the ABS attribute that you'll add to this one will actually give you the absolute value. So -6, the absolute value of that one is 6. So it basically removes the minus in front of it. And that makes it, for me, it's more easy to read, and I can also present it in the email a little bit easier. So what we're doing here then, we're saying that if the object renewal date, the value that you have here, is have a difference that is less than 7. So if the comparison in days between now and the value that you have in your asset attribute is less than 7. So this one will only trigger when you come to day 6, for example. So that's important to remember. And then we have a second one, and this one is more to safeguard that you don't have any corrupt data here. So we do the exact same thing, but it has to be greater than 0. So if it is null, for example, or if it is a negative value for some reason, then we don't need to send something out that has already occurred. So for example, if it is a renewal date and we have passed that, then you probably want to have another automation for it, because then you only want to have if it is at a negative value here, then you want to do something. But so these two together says that everything that has the value between 0 days, which means that it is passing today, and 7, which means it is passing within 6 days, should we take action on. And then I just send an email for this one, and you can have, if you want, you could have the other one. Let me see what is called. You can send customized email if you prefer to have more information here. I just picked the easy one for now, and I just did this one so we can actually show you. And the information up here in the subject is the same that we have here, and you have two versions in this one. So object name will refer to the name of it. So in this case, this one will then be my name. So that is the name of the asset. And then you have these ones, and these ones you can now decide if you want to have with the ABS, which is the absolute value, which will always be a positive value, or if you want to have the one that is a negative value. So in the top one, it will say asset Jimmy Wikman renewal date is in -7 days, and in the bottom one, it will say asset Jimmy Wikman renewal date is in 7 days. So that is everything that you actually need to do as a base for this one. So it's not very difficult, but maybe it is not super clear if you have never done it before. But what this one will help you do then is you can have different dates or different values that you can compare with. And if you want, you can even have in the automation, you can have fixed dates if you want that one as well. You can do a lot of other things here. So it all depends on what you want to do with the queries, and also what you want to compare here. So in this case, we're comparing dates, and you can compare other things. And you don't also have to have this one. Right now we have it on scheduled. You could have this one on update, for example, or if someone changes anything in the object schema, then you can trigger this one as well. So it is all dependent on what kind of actions you want to take. So that was a very super quick and short video. Hope that you found it informational and it was useful for you. If you want to have more videos like this, please add a comment and tell me what you want to see a video on, and I will do my best to create it. But for now, the only thing that I would like to say here is I hope that you will have a great day and an awesome week.